What's going on, everyone? My name is Under the Radar, and welcome back to the NPA. This is going to be the team builder for Week 7, I believe. And we're going up against Skylar, a.k.a. Bulky Cotton Candy, if you know who he is from that name, or the coach of the Duke City Dewblades. Skylar's not having the best season right now. He is currently 0-5 with a minus 25, I believe. Something like that. So he's not having the best season, but that's good for me, right? Because that means I can hopefully come out with a really big win, and I can try to potentially bring back up the differential from the last game that I lost against John. Because last week, in case you missed it, I lost against John. He brought a really good Tapu Fini set and absolutely destroyed me with it. So I can't be upset with that. However, let's go ahead and take a look at Skylar's team. He has a very fat team. He has a Heatran, Slowbro, Jolteon, Skuntank, Slurpuff, Tauros, Mega Venusaur, Umbreon, Staraptor, Palisand, and Turtonator. Now, his team, as I said, it is extremely fat. However, that's really good for me because I have a Zardex, which is one of the best setup sweepers in the game. The only problem with that is the fact that he has Slurpuff. Slurpuff is a massive threat to my team. If it gets up a belly drum, it has the potential to just 6-0 me if he has Fire Punch. Because if I'm not mistaken, to Skarmory, I calced this before the game, which, spoiler alert, the game already happened. I think it gets Fire Punch. Yeah, plus 6 Fire Punch does 124% to physically defensive Skarmory. So if he does have Fire Punch, I'm almost positive it gets Fire Punch. I'll have to check after the game, or after this, and double check it. But either way, it's still really threatening for my entire team. Even then, Drain Punch is doing about 40% to physically defensive Skarm, meaning he'll be able to gain health back, and he will be able to beat me 1v1 because he will outspeed me. Even if I'm Rocky Helmet or something like that, he can actually beat me down. And I don't have anything on my team to outspeed a plus 2 Jolly Slurpuff. None of my Scarfers are fast enough, and that includes Scarf Heliolisk. So that thing is very threatening for my team. Another thing that's really threatening for my team in general is the Heatran, Slowbro, Mega Venusaur core. It's kind of hard for my Zardex to set up on it, just because Mega Venusaur can put me to sleep, Slowbro can Thunder Wave me, and Heatran can Earth Power me. So it's very hard for me to set up against it. And then Umbreon, I can't set up on that because if it has Foul Play, it will beat me 1v1. So ultimately, I have to try to set up against an offensive mon that I know I can outspeed a +1 that is not Scarfed itself, like say Jolteon, maybe Tauros, maybe Palisand or Turtonator or something like that. But even then, Turtonator can Shell Smash up and it can be threatening that way. So ultimately, his team is actually really threatening. Like that's not me even just trying to be nice. His team is very threatening, and I'm kind of scared of it. Like, if my biggest fear in competitive mons ever since Slurpuff has been introduced is being 6-0 swept by a Slurpuff, and it can actually happen this game. So I have to be really careful of that. But ultimately, I think he's going to be bringing Heatran, Slowbro, Jolteon, Tauros, Mega Venusaur, Staraptor. Like, I could see him bringing those. I could also see Umbreon, and then I could see, like, Slurpuff. Like, there's so much that he could bring that it's actually hard for me to prep for it all. However, I do still think I have the team matchup. I do still think that I have a very good team built, and we'll just go ahead and talk about that right now. So this Lucario set is actually really good against this team. I'm Modest Life Orb because Psychic plus Dark Pulse plus close combat, I'm sorry, not Modest, Mild, it actually blows through all of his wall core. It KOs Heatran, Slowbro, and Mega Venusaur. If I'm able to get up rocks, it OHKOs Heatran. It does about 77% to Slowbro, so if it takes like a U-turn or something like that, I can actually kill it that way. It does about 70% to Fizdef Mega Venusaur, I'm sorry, and it OHKOs Umbreon. So it can do a whole lot of damage to his entire team, and Extreme Speed is really nice priority to hit things like the Jolteon. Jolteon's actually really scary for my team too. As you can tell, I don't have many switch-ins to fast electric types, especially if they're packing Hidden Power Ground, since my Dragon is also weak to ground. But yeah, I'm kind of scared of that thing. So having extreme speed is really important, but ultimately this thing is going to be a wall breaker. It's going to be there to try to wear down his walls, so that way Zardex has an easier time setting up. If I can wear down his Slowbro and force it into slacking off, if I can force its Mega Venusaur into going for Synthesis or Sludge Bomb or something like that, I can actually set up with my Zardex a lot easier. So that is pretty much Lucario's main job overall, is to wear down his walls. Extreme Speed is also really good for Slurpuff because it does about 30% to it. So if he belly drums up and I hit him with a move, and he's at about that range, I can actually kill him with extreme speed afterwards, and then it's not that big of a threat. So Lucario will be a massive key player in this game. But then we have my Charizard X. I'm running a fully Spadef set. I'm not running any weird spreads like I normally do. I didn't have enough time to actually do a whole lot of calcs with it. I was like, okay, I need to switch into Jolteon that isn't Nidoqueen because I need Nidoqueen for something else that I'll explain here in a minute. So I really needed to make sure that I had something to take on Jolteon. And because this is Spadef, Hidden Power Ground does, if he's Life Orb, I think it does 45% max. So I can come in on rocks before I Mega Evolve, and then I'm able, wait, what are his rockers? Heatran? I think Heatran is his only rocker. Yeah, I think Heatran is his only rocker. So I can come in, then I can Mega Up, and I can still live it, and I can Roost Off, and I can do pretty well that way. I can also click Earthquake and just OHKO, knowing I can live a hit after rocks if he's Life Orb. If he's Specs, it's a little bit harder for me to deal with, but I think Life Orb is still a very good bring for him. So, Spadef, Zardex. It's also really fat. It can live Earthquakes from Tauros pretty well. It can take on Play Roughs from non-boosted Slurpuff pretty well. It can take on hits from Skuntank pretty well. And this is also a really good way for me to set up on Mega Venusaur if he does not have Sleep Powder. If he doesn't have Sleep Powder, then I can set up on that thing pretty much all day long, unless he has Earthquake and Toxic and things like that. So I can deal with it pretty well. And I can also set up on Heatran a little bit better with a Spadef set, because even Earth Power is doing less than 50%, and I can set up one Dragon Dance and click Earthquake and kill it. But yeah, I really like the Zardex set. Like, this set's really cool. It's very simple, which I normally don't run simple sets, but I think that this set just really works out. So now we have Nidoqueen. Again, I'm running 3 very easy spreads. Also, the speed on this is enough speed to outspeed Slurpuff? Jolly Max Speed Slurpuff, I think? 133, I'm at 142, no. What was the speed for? Heatran, maybe? Max Speed Heatran? I think it was Max Speed Heatran. Yeah. Timid Max Speed Heatran I outspeed with this. That's why I'm timid. I'm mild Max Speed. So for all you people that watch this that get triggered by Max Speed, there's a reason for it. So I'm bringing Fizdap Nidoqueen. This is my check to Belly Drum Slurpuff, which in hindsight was not the best idea because I did not pack Sludge Wave. Just in case you guys were wondering. Originally, I was like, okay, well, if he sets up a Belly Drum on something, he'll be going down to 75%, Earth Power, plus Extreme Speed instantly puts him in range of it. So I was like, I can deal with it that way. I also do have Skarmory, which can, unless he has Fire Punch, which I'm pretty positive it gets Fire Punch. Like, if it doesn't get Fire Punch, I'm going to feel so dumb. But even then, it'll have to be taking some type of damage, and I have Iron Head on my Skarm too. So I figured I don't really need Sludge Wave, but I still think that I could have. I really wanted Super Fang though, because this team is so fat. I was really scared of his fat stuff. Like, if I can get 50% off on the Slowbro to where whenever it comes back in, it's instantly in range of Dark Pulse after rocks, like, that's huge. Same thing with it being instantly in range of Psychic after coming in on rocks from Mega Venusaur. Same thing with Close Combat on Heatran and things like that. So I think Super Fang was a really necessary bring, and then Stealth Rocks are of course really important. But Thunderbolt was there pretty much just for Slowbro because it does a good amount of damage to it. And Earth Power was also there for Skuntank because Skuntank is a little bit of an issue for my team. I kind of don't like them on in general. But just Fizdef, it's a 75% chance for me to live a +6 return from Slurpuff. So, from Jolly Slurpuff, that is. That means I can still beat it pretty well. Yeah, I think this is... the 4 move slot syndrome on this mon this week was really rough. Ultimately, I could have taken off Thunderbolt, put on Sludge Wave for Slurpuff, but I didn't. And I don't want to say it kind of scared me, but I still think that this was the best set to bring, personally, in my opinion. So after I have these sets, I really wanted to have some really good fast revenge killers, because as you can tell, his team is actually really, really slow. Like, he goes Jolteon, Tauros, and then down to Staraptor. Like, those are pretty fast, but then it drops to, like, Mega Venusaur, Heatran, Umbreon, and then, like, it's very, very slow. After base 100, it's extremely slow. So, I really wanted some good speedy mons to try to pressure him. And this Braviary set really pressures him. Like, if I can get a couple of U-turns off on some stuff, Brave Bird also does a whole lot to his team. Like, his switch-ins to it aren't really the best. But enough speed, again, for Heatran, I believe. Yeah, I think it was Heatran. Yeah, it's the same thing as this, but you can't hit 142 with this for some reason. Yeah. I really like this Braviary set. It's going to be a really good revenge killer. I can't outspeed max speed Adamant Unburdened Slurpuff with this set. I can't do it. Even if I'm Jolly max speed, I cannot outspeed Slurpuff, and that's scary. So even like my Scarfers, I don't have a way to check Unburdened Slurpuff. So, pretty scary. Also, this is a way for me to check things like Jolteon, if it's getting out of hand, if it's like Specs or something like that. So I can check that pretty well. Tauros is also a really big offensive threat, to where if it's Life Orb, I can just Brave Bird it and kill it. Base 123 attack is like massive. So after I had this revenge killer, I wanted another one, and this one was very specific because this outspeeds Adamant Unburdened Slurpuff. If he brings Belly Drum, I don't see why he wouldn't bring Adamant. Like, he might bring Jolly just to make sure he can outspeed Scarfers. However, at this speed tier, I do in fact outspeed Adamant Unburdened Slurpuff. Okay, so I don't know how many people know this, but if you put 8 EVs in a stat, you're actually wasting a point somewhere. But because I have 30 IVs in Spadef, I can put 8 EVs in there, and I'm not wasting any EVs. Just in case you guys are wondering, same thing with 248 in my special attack stat. But anyway, U-turn Hyper Voice, Hidden Power, Ground, and Thunderbolt. Nice good U-turn core here because he does have Palisand and Jolteon, so I wanted to be able to still get some really good like Volt turn momentum with only turning. That makes sense. And Hyper Voice is really good against his team. It's very good against his offensive threats and his defensive threats. So I can nuke a lot of stuff with Heliolisk. But my goal is to have this thing in, force him to bring in like Mega Venusaur or something on this, and then go into Zardex and hopefully set up and sweep him. Something along those lines. But I do really like this Heliolisk set. I think it'll be a pretty key player. But then we have Skarmory. Now, I haven't talked anything about Staraptor. However, Staraptor is disgustingly powerful, in case you guys were unaware. It's disgustingly strong. And I wanted a way to ensure that it would die to Lucario's extreme speed. So if it comes in on rocks, it takes 25%. If it goes for like Brave Bird or Double Edge or something like that and takes Rocky Helmet plus Recoil, it's in range of extreme speed guaranteed. It's also in range of Choice Scarfed Heliolisk's Hyper Voice. Same thing with Braviary's Choice Scarfed Brave Bird if he's banded. Something along those lines. So I really wanted the Rocky Helmet. And I have Roost, Ironhead, Whirlwind, and Brave Bird. Now, Whirlwind was kind of a last-minute decision because there was a scenario to where he was Z, like in my head, where he was Z Belly Drum on his Slurpuff. And if he's Z Belly Drum, then he won't get the Unburden boost. However, he will still be at +6, and I didn't want that. So I was like, if I can Whirlwind him out on that, and whenever he comes back in on rocks, he'll be below 50%. I don't even have to worry about +6 Slurpuff, then that's fine. But if he's Citrus Berry and he tries to set up in my face on this thing, expecting me to have Brave Bird and not Ironhead, thinking he can take one, and I just want to get rid of the Unburden altogether so I can set up with Zardex and hopefully get a sweep with Zardex, I can Whirlwind him out. But I also wanted Ironhead just in case I needed the check to it to be able to kill it late game. Like if he's not at +6 and I know that Ironhead will kill him, I'm okay with clicking Ironhead and killing it with my Scarm. So that's why I have Ironhead. Brave Bird is also there to put Mega Venusaur instantly in range of Psychic from my Lucario. So, and then Roost. I'm not bringing Hazard Removal because, as I said, Heatran is his only Hazard setter. And if he brings Heatran, which I think he will, honestly, because it walls my Heliolisk pretty well, it can wall my Braviary pretty well. It can't wall pretty much anything else in my team aside from Scarm, but he can run like Fire Spin, Taunt, and he can actually beat my Scarm down, which is actually pretty scary. So, I think it will be coming, but Hazards don't hurt my team as bad as they will hurt him. So, that's just my opinion at least. But these are the 6 that I'm going to be bringing this week. I'm really excited for this game. Pretty standard team. I didn't really go too in depth with it, but it's getting towards the end of the season. Even if I did go in depth, what I'm going to start doing is because, so hold up, let me tell you guys a little something about my end of the season. So in my first 7 weeks, right, I have played 1 person in my division. The rest of my games, I play the Orlando Magikarps, who is in my division. I play the UNK, who is also my division, the United Kinglers, which is Willow. So he's also my division. And then I play Nexus, who's not in my division. But then I play T-Train, and I play The Exception. That's who I was thinking of. So I play 4 people, I can count, 4 people in my division in the last coming weeks. So for the rest of the season, I'm probably going to mask some of my sets, because in playoffs, I'm going to have to play these guys. Like, I'm fine with revealing what I did for the top half of the season, but for the bottom half, I'm going to be going way more in depth. I'm going to be doing a whole lot more calcs. I'm going to be doing more mocks. I cannot let them know what I'm going to possibly be doing, especially against T-Train. Like, no offense to him, but he's 6-1 right now. He's like killing the league. He's doing so freaking good. So I really need to make sure that he doesn't have any idea what I could bring against him. Even though he's a really good friend of mine, I want to make sure I have the best possible advantage against him as I can. Same thing with the Choice Specs and Willow, like all of, and The Exception. They're all doing really well. Like, it's a really tight playoff race in my division, so I really need to make sure that what I do, I can kind of sort of hide my thought process going into the game. So expect the team builders to be a little bit more like this, not the whole I'm actually gonna have to block something out real. Hold on, give me one quick second. Okay, so as you can see, I have like 4 252 252 spreads, as compared to like this. I have absolutely none of that. I have 1. So expect it to be more like this for the rest of the season, just so that way I can kind of keep some stuff secret. I figured I would just let you guys know on that, so that way you don't think that I'm giving up on the league. I'm just trying to hide some stuff for the rest of the season. But with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like down below for me. Also, make sure you go over to Skylar's channel. Pretty cool dude. You'll enjoy his content. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.